Happy Sunday. I'm so glad you're here. I feel like I haven't seen your faces in forever after last week's fiasco, the snowstorm, and all the Schwens falling down one by one with this stomach flu. And 2 more bit the dust today. So, it's just a vicious little bug, as Abby says, going around. But I wanted to connect with you. I know I've heard from some of you that you've finished your 100 names list and you are excited to learn what the next step is, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. But again, I want this to be really non-formal, and so more questions the merrier, and I'm an open book, so if you want to know anything, this is the perfect chance to ask those questions. Okay. Oh, getting a text from one of the girls. My fancy new watch, guys. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to go on Pinterest and figure out how to use it.
You got an Apple Watch?
Yes.
Ooh, I got one too this week.
You did?
Yeah, my mom gave me one.
Oh, that's awesome.
So nice. Do you feel like you're going to use it a lot?
Are you asking?
Yeah, both of you. Like, do you feel like it's worth it having it connected to your wrist at all times?
It's still up for debate. I feel like the people I've spoken to that are very pro Apple Watch say that they can't live without it. What I have noticed is that I don't surf the internet as often because I can just look at my text, like respond and then put it down. Or my phone, I might like go to a different app on my phone and, see what's there.
So it keeps communication simple without distraction.
Oh, and I have had it since Christmas, and I've used it probably 30 times to look for my phone. So that's been really nice.
Oh, that's worth it in itself. Yeah, I use mine to track my sleep because I wanted to know like how many times I'm nursing Luca in the middle of the night, and it's a good indication of how much sleep I'm getting. So average, it looks like I'm only getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night.
Oh,
like restful sleep. Yeah,
you're amazing. Oh my gosh, that just makes me so sad for you. But also, I also like realize that it's the time of your life that has to happen. It's just, I feel like I'm to the point now, and maybe it's the age number that I hit, where I just can't go less than 6. Like once I get to like 5.5, I can't function the next day.
Yeah.
So God bless you, Brittany.
Yeah, you're in the thick of it.
You're totally in the thick of it.
It's so hard. I can always tell when I only get 4 hours because I'm like a mean mom. So mean. But it's also because I have a 3-year-old who's tests me all day long.
No, I don't think you could possibly be a mean mom. It's your interpretation, right? Of how you're treating them. Because I always say that when Paul comes down, he works upstairs. I'm like, I'm the worst mom. I'm a monster mom today. Like they all hate me. And he's like, well, they're all sick and all they want is you. So I'm pretty sure they don't hate you. Okay. So this is a fancy little tool that I came up with that's really, really effective. Oops, am I echoing?
A little bit.
Sorry. So our router is down in the other corner of the house. So if I have a bad connection, just let me know. Anyway, this little Google Doc thing I came up with to sort of transport your 100 names list to. And this way it's like a running document. It's basically like a living, breathing place where you can change it, you can edit it, you can, just make progress. I love that I can have a spot where I can go and I know that there is documentation that a conversation happened. Because in the beginning you might remember, but then in a couple months you might be thinking to yourself like, oh my goodness, I have no idea when's the last time I spoke to this person, or what their response was in regards to a question you had or something like that. Hey, is that Bree?
Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Your dinner party finished up in time?
They did. You can't see me because I'm cleaning and I look like a homeless person, but I'm here.
I love you. Okay. Well, I'm so glad you're here. And we're going to have time to ask questions here in a little bit. So if you have any, let me know. But so essentially what this is taking all those 100 names lists and then plopping them into these little sections at the bottom. So the connect, sample, invite, enroll, wellness consult, host, build, support, nourish. See how there's just these little tabs, okay? And it's basically the same thing on each one. You'll see like, can everyone see the arrow?
Yeah.
The dancing arrow. Okay. So it'll say in the connect column, right? You'll write the person's name that you are sort of reaching out to. Maybe you haven't spoken to them in a while. It's a friend from an old neighborhood or a play group you used to be in, or maybe it's someone that you see every day. Doesn't matter. But it's somebody that you want to make an authentic connection with. I call this, truthfully, my friendship column, because I want lots and lots of friends to edify me and fulfill my life. And the people in this column, I truly and genuinely care for and I love. And I want them in my circle because their energy makes me feel like a better person and motivates me and all of that. So this is an authentic connection, not about doTERRA. It's just a connection, okay? And I don't always, but I try to keep, like, especially if it's been a while since I've spoken to them, some sort of date of contact and what kind of communication we had, so that when I go back through, I can say, oh, sorry, Zachary. Oh, geez. I'm going to mute you and see if that helps, and then I'll unmute you if you have a question. Did that help? Okay, cool. I just saw your mouths go like this. Yes. But I'm assuming that means yes. I'm good at mouth reading. Okay, so yeah, this is just a really nice place. It's super clean and a spot where you can keep a running document on who you're making these connections with. But then once you get to the sample tab, it's really important to be very intentional about this column. This little sample section of your business is your first connection with them about doTERRA. It doesn't even have to be a sample of an oil. But have you ever heard of the ratio of like how many times someone sees something before they buy it? It's like 8 to 10 times, or some people in sales call it a touch. Like this sample column would be a touch. So maybe they, like a woman I spoke to on the phone last week said, yeah, I was getting my nails done and I saw that the woman behind the counter used doTERRA. So I was thinking to myself, like, thank you, woman at the nail parlor, because that's another touch for this person who already had a scheduled call with me to realize that, oh, it's not just something that I saw online this one time that this girl was sharing, but it's being shared in areas of my life and I get to see it and other people are using it. And so it's just a form of, not persuasion, but kind of like people get excited if they're not the only one using it, right? So the sample column, why it's so important is because, like I said, it's the first connection that you make with them when you start to create a relationship with them about oils, but it's also an opportunity for people to have a positive oil experience. And I'm going to send you in your email today or tomorrow a 25-minute video when you get the chance to listen to it. It's a couple of pretty experienced ladies in doTERRA and how they have seen the most effective way to sample. So we won't talk about that tonight, but what I will say to this is that when you do have an effective sampling experience with someone, it provides a much more like easy, I guess, paved way to them wanting to continue to use the oils. If they've had an oil experience with a sample that you sent them, or they have, you know, experienced a little bit of my gosh, tongue tied. If they have experienced some success with the oils at a class or anything like that, then they're going to be a lot more likely to want to have them in their life. Everyone has a need. Every single person, man, woman, child, elderly, newborn, like everybody needs help in some way, whether it's something more simple like sleep, or maybe it's a skin thing or digestive thing or whatever it is. There is a need for everyone. It can be something so simple. I remember a husband that was more than converted to oils than his wife in the beginning because he saw his toenail fungus went away like over the weekend after I recommended these oils to him, and he used them and they worked. And he stood up at her class that she hosted the next week and was like, everybody needs to buy these oils. They are so amazing. You know, I would never try to sell something or, you know, have you buy something that didn't work. He's like, I've seen it work for myself. So what I'm saying is a very small sample experience and oil experience for someone can really lend itself to them being more converted to the product and also being more willing to share with people in their circle. So the sample column is where you're going to put people's names down that you are open enough to share with or that are open enough to receive. And again, we won't go over the language of that tonight, but this is a really important part of the progression of people in purchasing oils. So kind of keep track with the date of the sample. What are their pain points? This is really important just to know like what it is that they're working on. What this column D is what products you've sampled them, and then a follow-up date and some kind of response after trying with as much detail as you can. So inviting them to a class is the next step. And typically in the invite column, dependent upon how you want to structure, you know, your time in this, a lot of people just do one-on-one invitations where they may say like, you know, let's meet up for a play date. And, you know, I can bring my set and you can smell them and figure out like which ones will help you and stuff. Or some people want to do like more of a formal class where they'll have 4 or 5 women come and sit in their living room and discuss, you know, more about doTERRA and more about how the oils have impacted your life personally. And so this invitation column is simply putting people's names in here that you've invited to a class and what their response was. Okay, and then the enroll tab, this enroll column here, these are people who have been either in a one-on-one situation with you and heard you talk about it, or they have attended a class but they haven't yet enrolled. And so typically what happens when someone hasn't yet enrolled and they've already met with you, it's because they need another oil experience. So sometimes that first oil experience was so great and they loved it and it, you know, made them sleep better or whatever, or it got rid of their acne. But then that one thing, once it goes away, they start to forget. They forget its importance and they forget that they have a need for it. And so they will, I've seen this happen time and time again, especially for me, because I, you know, after doing this for a few years, I've seen, oh my gosh, I don't even know, like thousands of people, and I can't remember everyone's pain point. And I also can't remember how many times I've followed up with everybody if I didn't put it in my document. And so people get lost in the shuffle, and I'll come back around, follow up with them in a couple of months and realize that, oh, they just forgot to enroll, or they went on vacation and they, you know, talked about it with their husband and he gave the okay, but then they didn't come back and do it because they were distracted. And life, you know, gets the best of all of us. And so it's our job to make sure that we remind people of the need and get them, I guess, to a place where they remember that this is important and this is going to solve a lot of problems for me in my life. And one way to do that is to sample again. So those who haven't enrolled yet, who've sat down with you and who have attended a class perhaps, those are the folks you've got to follow up with and re-sample in some way, have some sort of refreshed oil experience. And then this is like down the line for you, but it's also something to consider that's really important, because the success of your doTERRA business is really determined by how converted people are to the products. So when you have someone enroll, okay, and that might be a new word for some of you, but typically enroll means they have purchased a wholesale customer account and they have purchased a product. Maybe it was one oil, maybe it was a starter kit. However they decided to get started with essential oils, that is their first step. They're getting kind of like their pinky toe wet in the water. But to really have a lifestyle change and to sort of begin what we like to call a 90-day healing plan, that has to be managed by something called a loyalty order. Oop, there's someone in the chat. Emily says, sorry I'm late. I'm so glad to be here. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. Yay, Emily, I'm so glad you're here. And you're not late. You're great. It's perfect. The party starts when you're here. Hi, there you are. So essentially when someone gets their wholesale customer account and they are, committed to that one product, they really have to start to make bigger changes to see, and bigger investments to see more of a change in their life. And how we do that is you can do it on a very budget-friendly loyalty order, which is where someone just orders one oil a month until they build up their collection. Or maybe you're enrolling someone who has more of a deeper pocketbook and they're able to purchase, the supplements every month. Or maybe they get the DDR Prime because they're, going through some recovery period in their life, or the probiotic and their kids have digestive issues. So there's things that are consumable that they need every single month. And the loyalty order is the smartest way to shop and the most intelligent way to do so, because people are saving so much money. Instead of buying those products that cost the same at Target, for example, which of course you wouldn't find doTERRA at Target, but I mean products that may be equivalent in the title. They might say like probiotic or essential oil or, antibacterial soap, which are different things that doTERRA has. The quality, as we know, is very different because it's natural, it's not harmful, it's antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiviral, and really can help the body on a cellular level and help heal, along with keeping everybody healthy. Wait, hold on, there's another chat. I should just keep it up. There we go. Emily says, can you imagine if Target gave us 30% back in Target points? Exactly, right. So if you think about all the investments you're making at Target every month and spending, whether it's deodorant or whatever it is, you can just translate that and sort of transition those same purchases over to your doTERRA account that can be sent to you automatically. You don't have to take your kids to the store. Your friends and family that are learning about this, you get to teach them that not only are they going to get all their shipping back for it being sent straight to them, but they're going to get products back as well. So 10% in the beginning, and you can earn all the way up to 30% back after a year. And those 30% points add up really fast. It's kind of like doTERRA bucks. And so those points you can spend on products. And it's really, really beneficial when you're trying to do it all on a budget. And when we started with oils, my husband was in law school. And so I was really conscious about just, all the money that we were using on groceries and what we had to spend left over. And so when I started with doTERRA, I got a really nice check from my dad for my birthday and was like, okay, I'm going to get started with a starter kit. And then I'll use this like little bit of money that we have left over every month to get myself something. And then once it built up to a spot where I knew my family had to use these products every month to sustain our health and to really understand that all the results we were getting from these things were coming from the products we were getting, I couldn't stop using them. And so that's when I started to host my first class, second class, third class, and then realized that all of these classes I'm hosting are paying for like 6 months worth of my products. Then it was well worth it for us. Bree says, I just hit 30% and it was a game changer. I'm glad. I know it adds up fast, doesn't it, Bree? But yeah, so this column here on enrolling is just getting people to the point where they're ready to make that commitment. And as I said, it can be done on any budget. And so we don't want to, make people feel like this is something they can't afford and that essential oils and natural healthcare is out of their reach if they make a certain income. We want people to know that it's really for anyone, and that enrolling is the very smartest way to do it, because then they're going to get the 25% off all the products as well for an entire year. So that's great. And then down the line from there, this is my favorite part about the 100 names list. Once you get to this point and you have people who are ordering from you consistently every month, those people, those loyal customers who are committed to the product, are going to end up being people who will host for you in the future. Because how hard is it for someone who already loves essential oils to know that they're going to get a free diffuser, and maybe a special oil blend or something from you. And they just have to invite a couple of their friends over and have this like fun girls night, right? It's not hard to do that when you know that you're going to get more of what you already love, and you can have the chance to sit down with people that you love and learn more about the things that you already know work really well. And I think it comes so naturally for people when they're already using them, because they're sitting there using them every day, almost to a certain extent feeling selfish, right? Because they're like, gosh, I love how this is working for me. This morning I was thinking to myself, my skin is looking so great lately, and not to boast about it, but we just started using the Yarrow Palm, I want to say, I don't know, 5-6 months ago. And I got the new bigger bottle in December, and I just feel like my skin is like so healthy. And I'm sitting there in my bathroom going, everybody needs to have this, right? It's just something that we naturally think about when something's working really well. And we just want to share it because it's working great and we love it. And so, especially if there's people in your life that you talk to every day, like a best friend or a mom or a sister, those are people you're naturally going to share with anyways. And so those folks will become the hosts that will then get you outside of your warm market, as they say. Abby says, yarrow and calendula are life-changing for skin. I need to get the oil. Oh, use your points. Just get it for free. It's awesome. Okay, so the next column is the build column. Okay, so this may come later on when you have found someone who really kind of fits your vibe, and someone who's committed to the product, someone who loves the oils, they love you, they're your friend maybe. It could be someone that maybe you don't even know, but they've purchased from you online. But they have this like energy that they like to help people. And they're someone who has an influence and has a voice and likes to share their opinions, right? Those would be the kinds of people that you would want to align with and write down in this column. And it might not come to fruition overnight. But what I love so much about this column, this is probably my favorite one, is because I brain dump all the time. Like, I write a wish list of all the people I would love to partner with. And then slowly over the years, I've been able to cross their names off the list because they've joined and they've become a part. Now, it doesn't matter what that looks like to me. It doesn't mean that someone has to hit the ground running and have a diamond team in a year, right? It's somebody who I care about that has seen the value of what I'm doing and they want to do it too. And it can look any way they want it to look in their life, but it's so fulfilling to be able to partner with people that you love and teach people how to live a healthier life. That's just the coolest part about what we do. Okay, so how does this look? Basically, what happens on this list is, right, all the people down that you feel like you really vibe with, but then you take a bit of, it's like a conversation that happens in my head. It's time, it's well thought out, it's something that I pray about, I think about, I meditate about, and then when I feel like it's the right time and the universe has kind of moved things in alignment where I feel like, okay, this is a good time to have that conversation, the worst thing that they can say is no. And that's okay. If someone says no, then I know to move on and to let that go and release the energy that's attached to that feeling of wanting them to partner with me. And it's actually very healthy to hear a no. But if somebody doesn't say no and they say like, oh, you know what, I am kind of interested in that, or let's meet up at Starbucks and talk about what that really means and how, what this looks like in your life, then that's an opportunity for you to open the door and kind of discuss what you do. But I don't want you to think of it as they have to know everything in one day and they have to have a business that looks exactly like yours, right? As I said, this is a space for everyone, as long as they are willing and open to share and they have a giving, teachable, loving heart and things like that. It's going to be great. I'm sure there's people that do it that don't have a loving heart, but in my mind, they do. And not on my team. I just meant in other places of doTERRA, because obviously I would attract people that love, because I'm a lover. So the next one, this is just something that you would do to kind of keep up with the people that are building with you. These are active builders on your team, and a document that you could just write everybody's name down that has hosted a class that maybe really likes what you do, and make sure you connect with them either every day or every other day. If it's someone that you're partnering with, it should be often. And that's why I love the Voxer app. So if you haven't gotten on Voxer or Marco Polo, I know Abby loves that one, and we can connect on there, that's really great, because then you don't feel like you have to get on the phone with someone. You know, we're all either moms or women with lots of responsibilities. And so it's unrealistic for us to say, you know, we're going to talk every single day. But if you're sending messages or connecting on social media and things like that, that's really great. That way you can be linked together and really work together towards the greater good of what you're trying to accomplish. Oh, I see a comment. Emily says, you guys, this is real, so real. I have a friend who's been on my list for years, and she reached out to me last week to participate in the Love on Yourself week. That's awesome. A part of your 100 names list, Emily. Brittany says, that's amazing. I'm so nervous to jump in, but this makes me so excited. Emily says, Brittany, that's a good sign then. I love the things that we know are what we should be doing, but they still kind of scare us. Isn't that so true? What's that? I forget. Is it Tony Robbins that says if you don't feel uncomfortable, like reaching for something, then you're not growing? Because I feel like every single time I do anything that makes me feel uncomfortable, I'm like so much better of a person for having done it. Even if it's a hard conversation with my husband. Lately, I've been like, we're getting ready to leave for Italy, and lots of stuff has to get done. And I'm like, okay, how do I do this? But then once I have the conversation, tons of stuff gets done. It's magic. Okay, side note. Nourish is a column that I added more recently, sometime last year. And it's basically just people that are currently on your team who just need validation, just some kind of personal note in the mail that you can write them. Maybe you drop in like a postcard or something if you're traveling, or maybe it's just a text message, but something where you're cultivating the team you already have, because we don't want people to feel like it's a one-night stand or they got left in the dark, but that we have this community we've created where we are pouring into them and educating them and loving on them. So that's why I host a lot of giveaways and stuff on Facebook for my existing members, because I think that's really important. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen here for a sec. Okay, I'm gonna unmute you. Hopefully I won't.
Oh, you're muted. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny. I unmuted everyone and muted myself. Perfect. Hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to send that document to you so that you can edit it and make it your own. And if you want to like change it all, that's great too. But at least you'll have something that you can use as a frame of reference when you're coming up with ways to, like, let me give you an example. I use this document as a guideline for what I do in my day. So when I wake up in the morning, I know what I have to do based on my list. So I don't call everybody in a day. I just take 2 names from each column, and that doesn't take that much time to like catch up via text, or if there's 1 or 2 phone calls a day. It's not something that's like taking a ton of time away from my family, because I can be on a walk with Nico and be, you know, have my headphones in and be talking to someone at the same time that we're, you know, walking around at the park or something like that. So essentially it's just a guideline and a way for me to know like what it is that I can do every day to grow my business and help things progress and help things grow. So was that helpful?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. What questions do you have? Ooh, Emily, what is this? Oh, cute. She says, here's a link you can copy to her favorite cute postcards to send. I'm totally going to copy that link. Emily's really good at presentation of like things she sends in the mail. So if you ever have questions about that, you can totally ask her. I'm going to copy that link though. Okay, I got it. Perfect. Thank you. Oh, Is that Rose? That's number 7.
Number 7.
Hello, sister. She has hair. That's blowing my mind.
Oh.
Look at all that hair on your head now. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
If she'll turn her head, she has like a little swoop curl in the back.
So she's looking at us.
How old?
Swoopy curl.
He's 1.
1.
Yeah, come on.
Luca is almost 1.
Oh, when's his birthday?
Well, his birthday's in February, but February 24th.
Oh, wow. So soon. I know, guys. My baby's going to be 4 in like 2 weeks. It's really weird. It's so weird. I'm not okay with it at all, but he's the sweetest. Okay, so I got some of your 100 names lists, and I wanted to know, like, are there questions about how to create the list, or if you didn't do it, or do you have questions about what you learned tonight, or anything at all?
I haven't done the list yet because my mom came to town, and she's going through a really bad divorce with my stepdad, and life just kind of got crazy, but I'm slowly chipping away at it, so I'm going to try to wrap it up tonight.
Brittany, I am so sorry.
It's
That is
okay.
so hard. Well, if you would like to just talk about that at any time, my mom has been married
Yeah.
4 times. Did I already tell you that?
No, I didn't know that.
And my dad has been married 3 times.
Yeah.
And my in-laws, we added it up. It's 13 marriages between my husband and husband's family and my family.
Yep, I understand that. He was in my life for 15 years, and he was physically and verbally abusive, so it's a good thing that they're not together anymore, but it's just been hard. It like hit me hard the last 2 weeks, so.
Especially while she's been there, too.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Thanks.
That's so hard. Well, good for your mom, though, to be able
Yeah.
to walk away from that.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's always the hardest part, I feel like.
Yep.
There is no rush. You know, this is an open forum, so you just can ask whatever you want, and there's no deadlines.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Does anyone have questions about, like, what a day looks like, or how to talk to people about things, or anything like that?
I just want to know, like, because it seems like everybody has started and everything and is moving forward, and I just don't know, like, where to begin, and that's my hardest part. It's like, okay, this is good, I want to do this, but how do I start?
That's a good question. I'm going to ask them what they think, and then I can give you my opinion too. Okay. What do you guys think?
I'll answer. It seems like the answer is the 100 names list. When I first started, I thought it was like, I didn't like how it felt. It felt like, the yucky part of network marketing or something, where it's like, think of every single person that you could try and sell to, every single person you've ever talked to. But then doing the business, that's not what it feels like at all anymore. Yeah. It's like, I feel like I have become a more loving person, a person who's more aware of other people from this exercise, because people come to my mind, and it has nothing to do with doTERRA, but because I'm thinking of people, then I think of people more often. Yeah. So like the person who, one of my college roommates has been on my, so the 8-column system, she's been on my, like, get back in contact with them, with her, the column, for, 2 years. And, like, we'll have little messages over Instagram, like, every 6 months, but it hasn't been anything more than that, really. But because she's on that list, I think of her more often. And it's a happy thought. Like, people that I love, people that I want good things for, I feel like I do a better job at my work because they're on my mind, and I want good things for them.
Yeah.
And then I think it's like the magic of the law of attraction that happens when you're thinking of people. Then when you're thinking of people that you want good things for, then people that need your help come into your life more. It's like when you're thinking about how can I help people who are ready to receive that come to your life, you know, and you find the people that are open.
Yeah.
So I used to not like that exercise because it felt like skeezy to me.
Mm-hmm.
But now it really feels very pure to me now, because it's like in each of those, like making the 100 names list, it's just, if someone comes to my mind, it's not an accident that they came to my mind.
Yeah.
You know, like the most recent iteration of my 100 name list. I mean, I just wrote down just anybody that came to my mind. I wrote down my husband's cousin, Wendy. I don't know why I wrote down cousin Wendy. I love cousin Wendy. We're not even that close. She lives in like Dana Point, California. But I've only like interacted with her 2 times, 3 times. But I love cousin Wendy, and she came to my mind. So for whatever reason, I wrote her down. And if the end result, it never has anything to do with doTERRA, I am glad. It makes me happy that people that I love come to my mind more often, because I feel like it makes me better, you know?
Yeah.
That's my long answer.
So basically your answer is start with the hundreds names.
100 names list, for sure. 100 names list.
Okay.
Because you have to figure out somewhere to go. And I don't know if this is what you're feeling, but my hesitation, I really had like some resistance to even starting the 100 names list.
Yeah.
Because I think at the beginning I felt like, okay, I guess my job is to like sell to them or something, I guess. But that's not what the exercise is at all. It's people coming to your mind, and the people that are coming to your mind are people that are in your life that you want good things for. And so then the next steps become very clear, because you have done this exercise in wanting good things for people in your life.
Yeah. I mean, so one of the things that, and Lena knows this, I want to start making some like non-toxic products for people, like laundry soaps and deodorants and things like that. And I want to start selling them. And Lena brought up a really good point that I should start using doTERRA in those products that I need. And I think that would be a really seamless way to do that, like to talk about, well, this is the ingredients that I use within my products. And I kind of want to like use that as a jump starter, because I feel like so icky about just like contacting people about it. I just feel like I'll be really bad at it. And I don't ever want to come off like that. I want to come off from a place of love and like thoughtfulness. So, yeah.
You seem like a very sweet person. So I don't think that the people that you would approach would feel any ickiness from you. I think just think of how you would feel if it were flipped. If a girlfriend of yours had something in her life that, am I muted?
No, I'm telling her, this is what I did with you. Did it feel icky?
It was hard at first, but it didn't, because of me, not because of the actual thing being hard. Having a conversation with a friend isn't hard. Me putting weirdness on it, that was me adding the weirdness. There is no weirdness in the actual situation.
Right.
You're bringing the weirdness to it. And so that's a choice that you have. You can bring the weirdness or not bring the weirdness.
Yeah.
But wanting someone in your life to have something good. And the thing is they have choices in it too. So if it's something that fits for them, works for them, that they're interested in, then they'll let you know. If it's not something that they're interested in, then they'll also let you know. And then the relationship continues. Either way, you know?
Totally. Bri, I was going to ask you. Oh, was that Abby?
That was me.
Hi.
Hi. You can go ahead and say what you were going to say first.
No.
No, I was going to tell you, all of you, that we have a book club every month with some of the gals in my church. And is everybody here LDS or no? No. Okay. So anyway, there's a book club for younger women in the church that I go to. And so it was at my house, and it was Girl Wash Your Face, which I didn't actually read, but we were talking about self-care and all these different things. And I use oils very naturally. And like you, Brittany, I get very weird about sharing it with people that are in my immediate personal circle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not weird for me online because that's like what I do. So that's a natural place. People are coming to me for it. But when I have to turn that to people in my personal life, I'm like, I don't want this to feel weird and yucky. But I use Balance essential oil like it's water. I feel like I go through bottles and bottles of it, and I truly use it every day. And they were talking about anxiety, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have the perfect thing for you. And I bought the little tiny sample vials. So I gave both of the girls that were here that were talking about it, gave them a sample of it. One of them messaged me. She already uses doTERRA, so it was easy. But she was like, what was that oil called? And that gave me the confidence to talk to the other friend about it, because she doesn't really use them, but she's heard of it before. So I feel like that's just a really easy in to just be like, hey, how's it going? How are you dealing with the book? And did you try the oil? Has it changed for you? And what I found too is it's really easy for me to talk to friends who do network marketing businesses. Like for whatever reason, it feels like they're just more receptive to it, and it gets rid of any of that awkwardness where you're like, I do this thing, but I don't know. I don't want to feel salesy and weird, because they get it. So that was my experience. Yay.
Look at Bree smiling. What's your advice for
I completely agree. I totally resonate with what you're saying. I think that your inclusion with like natural cleaning and so forth is a really good segue. As well, what Abby and Emily said, I did the 100 names list, but I also have that like weird space about, especially like Abby said, about like that immediate circle. So one thing that helped me, and I continue to do, is I would just make roller bottles for gifts, or include them in different gifts for everybody from my mother-in-law to the kids' teachers. And everyone is always like, what is this? Like, because you can make it pretty, you can make it smell great and all that jazz, but they're always curious because they're like, oh, I've never gotten anything like this before, if they haven't. So it started the conversation like, oh, well, who doesn't need, something to like pick them up in the middle of the day, peppermint and wild orange? Who doesn't need some relaxation, like a teacher, Balance and Serenity? So it started the conversation in a way where it wasn't like I was just cold approaching them. It was just something that I liked and I gave to them, so I thought they would like it. And that's the major way that I kind of started a conversation with people that I necessarily felt weird to do that with. And my one builder that I have that I'm working on helping educate and get her up and going was one of my kids' teachers, who I just put in a roller bottle in her Christmas gift for school. And she was like, what is this? And it's just, grown from there. So the best part about doTERRA and, building and figuring this out is that you have so many different avenues to do that with, and you can kind of tailor it to what your life is and what you're doing. So it's like, the sky's the limit. You just got to figure out what works for you and roll with it and just go at your own pace.
From a government employee in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Don't pick your nose.
Did that help, Brittany?
Yeah, that was helpful. Sorry, he was screaming out the door, so I was like,
oh, I didn't even hear
really trying to focus, and I had it on mute, so you couldn't hear.
Well, the good news is it's recorded, so you can go back and watch it too.
I heard everything.
Okay.
But thank you so much. That was very helpful.
Yeah, and I would say for a piece of advice from me is just not being afraid to fail and not quitting on a hard day or a bad day.
Yes.
So like, obviously we all have growing pains when we're trying to figure this out, but you have a mentor and you have someone to kind of be a sounding board on those days where maybe you feel rejected or you have questions. I love being a sounding board, and I love the partnership and like the sisterhood of all of this. And if we do get a male builder someday, like, I'll be happy, but it will be kind of hard because I just really love this feeling of like camaraderie with other women, and that we can help each other, and that we're never in competition with one another, but that we can lift each other up, and we borrow content from one another all the time. And I love that our community really lends itself to that, and that anything that's mine is yours. So if you're feeling like, oh, I have to reinvent the wheel, I have to create all this content, I have to come up with all these pictures, like, no, that is not the case at all.
Okay.
So anything that's mine is yours, obviously.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And, is there, I think I just feel a little lost when it comes to like, sorry, I feel like I'm talking too much, you guys.
No, come on, Brittany, bring it on.
Is there like a website I log into in order to like order my stuff, or do I how does the practical side of all of it work too? So I really appreciate all this advice, because this is what I was thinking, but now I'm like, okay, well, practically, what does it look like for me to like start using and to be able to start sharing, and that side of it.
Yeah. Well, I have some time tomorrow.
Okay.
So we can get on the phone and I can show you. It's really simple. Or I can send you the link tonight and you can ask me questions over text or something like that.
Okay. I have Marco Polo too, so I
Perfect.
I just added you to my Marco Polo.
Perfect. Just thank that little sister right there, Abby, for Marco Polo, because she got me into that app. I was I just didn't want another app on my phone because I have no room left to take photos.
Mm-hmm.
But I deleted like thousands of photos just so I could see this lady's face on there. So join the fun for sure.
I delete it and then I add it back on. I delete it and I add it back on. So it's just a thing that I am constantly doing.
Well, on Voxer, it's helpful too, because then we're all in there together and there's a group. And so if you have questions, like the whole group can answer. That's a space where we share links to videos and stuff like that too.
Okay, I'll check that out too. Hold on, buddy.
Any other questions, you guys? Miss Abby?
I'm on mute.
Does that feel like did that Google Doc feel like a document that you could use, or that you could kind of morph into what you're looking for?
Yes, I just have so many names that I'm terrified to transfer everything over. So,
I know, right?
I'm just going to put all the people that I highlighted that I think it's actually like somebody that will use the product and it's worth my time, you know, to do that. Probably just put them in there, and then I'll have my other one that I made.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's super helpful because I do everything in Google Docs and spreadsheets. So to have it all in the places is good. So thank you for making that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Luca, and what's the other one's name?
Jackson,
that's right.
They're so cute.
They're darling. Luca's blonde, huh?
Yeah.
I just realized that.
Which is so weird. And he has bright blue eyes.
Aw, sweet peas.
Kind of weird.
Well, I'm excited to see your faces next Sunday. What is next Sunday? Is it the last? Hold on.
The 27th.
Yeah, it's the last one. I feel like we'll have one more Sunday of like similar to this, and I'll share some stuff. But then from there, let me know via email if you're interested, because I am thinking about doing like an actual launch where it's once a week calls, and we would talk about like different action steps you can take from here. This is just Q&A and like the beginnings and stuff, but then, you know, we could get deeper into what conversations you have with people and like what's the best scenario and how do you get people to host and all of that. So
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You guys are awesome. I'll see you on Marco Polo.
Okay, thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye,
It's
guys.
nice to see you all.
See ya. Bye, Bree. Bye, Emily. Bye, Abby. Bye, Brittany.
Bye.
So fun seeing your face.
How do I do this? Oh, here we go. Ah.
Look how he's laughing at me. Hi. Are you with baby Rose? I have a call. I have to go. Love you. Oh, I think it's still recording.